Okay, so hello po. Magandang araw po sa ating lahat. So welcome sa ating panibagong session. So ito yung ating ikalimang linggo sa ating Mathematics 9 sa ating first quarter. So ngayon naman dadako tayo sa tinatawag nating quadratic functions. Okay, so quadratic functions, so before, previously pinag-aralan natin mga quadratic equations and inequalities. So kapag equations, ang equations ay ax squared plus bx plus c ay equal sa 0. So meron siyang equal symbol. So this is equation. Okay? So kapag inequality, so pwede natin gamitin na ax squared plus bx plus c. So gagamitin tayo ng mga inequalities. Inequality symbol. So these are inequalities. Okay, so ngayon, functions. So paano may tinatawag na functions? Ibig sabihin, yung ax squared plus bx plus c. So pwede siyang equal sa y or tinatawag nating f of x. Okay? So, ibig sabihin, meron na siyang other variables na y or a function of x. Okay? So, yung mga quadratic functions, pwede natin siyang makita sa mga tunay na buhay. Okay? So, balikan natin ito. Makikita natin sa ating mga modules. Papakita natin. Wait. Okay, as you can see dito sa module natin, makikita natin, these are examples ng mga quadratic functions. Okay? So, paano nasabing quadratic functions? Okay, so kaya nasabing quadratic functions is that kasi nga, ang quadratic, ang graph niya ay isang parabola. Okay? Parabola ang tinatawag. So, ano ba yung parabola? Ang parabola ay pa-curve. So, it's either pa ganito or pa ganito. So, isa siyang curve. Okay, so ibig sabihin, pag nakakita tayo sa tunay na buhay ng curve, ibig sabihin, masasabi natin siya ay isang parabola. So, just like these examples. Ito, so parabola siya. Familiar ba sa larong yan? So, yung larong yan ay yung Angry Birds. Diba? So, makikita natin, parabola siya. Okay? So, just like second example, so, a man throwing a ball, papunta sa isang basket. So, basketball game. So, parabola pa rin siya. Okay? And last, a dolphin or a fish jumps out of the water, then goes back to the water. So, that's an example also of a quadratic function. So, bakit tinawag na quadratic function? Kasi, meron siyang, nakabuo siya ng parabola. Okay po, naiintindihan? Okay. So, next po natin. So, paano ba natin masasabi na mga quadratic function sila? So, sabi nga natin, masasabi natin quadratic function kapag nakaganto. So, ibig sabihin, if y is equal to 8x plus 6, so this is not a quadratic function. So, bakit siya tinawag na hindi quadratic function? So, that's because hindi siya quadratic. So, di ba para masabi natin na quadratic, dapat may squared. So, wala siyang squared. So, kulang siya ng squared. Okay po. So, wala siyang squared, hindi siya quadratic. So, therefore, hindi siya quadratic function. So, another one is that we have f of x is equal to x plus 2 times x plus 3. So, as you can see, walang squared. Pero, quadratic ba siya o hindi? Okay, quadratic siya kasi this is expandable. So, pwede natin siya i-multiply. So, in such a way na it becomes x squared plus 5x plus 6. So, that is f of x. So, therefore, as you can see, may squared, may f of x. So, therefore, this is a quadratic function. So, ganun lang kadali para masabi natin na quadratic function. So, para masasabi na quadratic function? So, it must have a y or an f of x and then may squared. Okay? Quadratic, may y or f of x, quadratic function. Okay po? Naiintindihan po? Okay, next. Okay, so next natin, after we identify quadratic functions from mga hindi quadratic function, so identify natin yung tinatawag nating standard form. Okay, ano ba yung standard form? So, noong una, ang alam lang natin sa mga tinatawag nating quadratic function ay yung ax squared plus bx plus c. So, gawin natin y. So, ang alam lang natin ay ganito. So, this is your general form. Okay, ano ba yung tinatawag na standard form? So, si standard form, o yung tinatawag natin, may iba pa siyang tawag. This is called the vertex form. It is y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. So, bakit tinawag na vertex form? Vertex form. Kasi, kapag nakagantong form siya, nakikita natin yung vertex. Yung vertex niya is hk. Ano ba yung vertex? So, di ba sabi natin, ang quadratic functions, ang graph niya ay mga parabola. At ang parabola, dalawang klase yan. It's either going down or going up, opening downward or opening upward. So, dito, meron siyang isang point. So, itong point na to, this is called the maximum. Itong point na to is called the minimum. Sorry. Ito, minimum. So, yun yung vertex. So, kapag opening downward, yung pinakatuktok niya is the maximum and this is minimum kapag opening upward naman siya. So, yun yung tinatawag na vertex, yung dulo. Yung pinakamataas or yung pinakamababa ng isang graph. Okay? So, ang gagawin natin is that we have a general form na y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So, we will transform it into standard form for us to find the vertex or the minimum and maximum. Okay? So, paano ginagawa yon? So, alalahanin lang natin yung tinatawag nating completing the square. So, tanda pa si completing the square? So, sana tanda pa. First topic natin. Okay? So, paano yan? So, sulat muna natin. So, pakisundan ang ating mga steps. So, ang gagawin natin ay gantong format. Y is equal to a times x minus h squared plus k. So, gagawin natin ganito. So, for example, we have y equals x squared minus 6x plus x. So, mapapansin natin, format siya ng ax squared plus bx plus c. Yung general form natin. So, gagawin natin siyang ganito. Okay, so as you can see, may a sa unahan. So, ano ba yung a natin tinatawag? So, a is the coefficient of your quadratic term. Yung number daw dito sa unahan nito. May number ba sa unahan? Wala. So, kapag walang number sa unahan, so, matik, mas madali na yung trabaho natin. So, gagawin natin is, we will sort out or isa-segregate basura. Isa-segregate. So, ililalayo natin. So, pagsasamahin natin, i-group natin yung mga may variables na x. So, that become x squared minus 6x. Then, ilalayo natin si plus 6. So, ba't nagkaroon ng blank? So, gagawin natin, maglalagay tayo ng blank dito, plus blank, and also dito. So, ayan, plus blank. Okay, so gagawin natin is, yung nga, na pinaalala ko kanina, completing the square. So, paano complete? So, gagawin natin, itong naka-parenthesis natin, we will make it a perfect square trinomial. Perfect square trinomial daw ito. So, paano magiging perfect square trinomial? So, we will get the coefficient of your linear term, yung 6. We will divide by 2. Always divide by 2. So, 6 divide 2 ay equals sa 3. Then, yung 3, i-square natin. So, that's what we will add to make it a perfect square trinomial. So, what is 3 squared? 9. Okay? So, 6 dinivide sa 2. So, regardless of sign na yun, nasa gitna ha. So, 6 divide 2. 3, in-squared natin, 9. So, yes, ilalagay mo dito. Will you add 9 here? So, no, hindi mo siya i-add ng 9. So, bakit po? So, kasi, anong nangyari dyan, ang gagawin natin is, in-neutralize natin yung equation. So, dapat ang mangyari dyan, walang mababagong value dun sa equation na original natin. So, kung nag-plus 9 ka dito, so para ma-neutralize or para maging 0 ulit, yung plus 9 mo, papalitan mo, gagawin mo minus 9. So, opposite mo lang yung sign. Okay po? So, plus 9, then minus 9. So, tama nga naman. Nag-plus 9 ka dito, nag-minus 9 ka dito, 0. Bumalik lang ulit sa dati. Naintindihan po? Okay. So, ang gagawin natin, fa-factor natin ito. So, we will factor this one as a perfect square trinomial. So, paano siya pina-factor? So, may squared. So, square root nito is x. Square root nito ay 3. Then, anong sign nito? Negative. Okay? So, we have positive 6 minus 9. This is negative 3. So, therefore, this is your standard form of this equation. X minus 3 squared minus 3. So, therefore, the vertex here is, sabi, x minus h. So, x minus h. Tapos ito yung k. So, anong gagawin natin? X minus h. So, h natin is 3. Yung k natin is negative 3. Nalito? Sir, bakit hindi na bago ang sign? So, napansin natin, minus talaga originally yung nakalagay natin sa vertex. Okay? So, originally kasi x minus h. So, kung tatanggalin natin yung x minus, yung h na yon. Tama? So, pag tinanggal natin yung x minus, that is your h3. So, yung k naman, nakita natin is plus sign. So, as is na yon. Kung anong sign nung nasa labas, yun na yung vertex natin. Understood po? Okay. So, yun yung tinatawag nating standard form. So, standard forms or also the vertex form. So, let's have another example. Example. So, lagyan natin sa number sa unahan. So, what if we have y equals 5x squared minus 20x minus 5. So, first ay, isa-sort natin yung may mga x, walang x. So, gagawin natin is y equals 5x squared minus 20x nilayo si minus 5. So, gagawin na ba natin yung i-divide sa 2, then squared? So, hindi pa. So, dapat kasi, yung x squared, yung may number, yung number sa unahan ng x squared, dapat 1. So, in case dun sa natin example, so, yung x squared, 1 yung nasa unahan. So, kaya diniretso na natin sa completing the square. So, in this case, may number 5 sa unahan. So, gagawin natin, i-divide natin sa 5. So, if you factor out si 5, we have x squared minus 4x. Then, minus 5. So, dito lang finactor yung 5 kasi dito, pag finactor out mo yung 5, hindi naman siya kasali sa parenthesis. Dito lang sa nasa loob ng parenthesis. So, if we multiply or dinistribute natin yung 5, 5x squared, 20x, so it's still the same equation. Okay, so next, dahil na-factor out na natin yung 5, yung coefficient or the number na nasa unahan ng quadratic term is 1. So, we will now proceed to completing the square. So, gagawin natin, K4, we will get 4, then we divide always by 2. So, that's 2. Then, squared. So, lagyan natin ng plus blank. So, anong i-add natin? 4. So, kung nag-add tayo ng 4 dito, ano ilalagay natin dito? Shall we subtract 4? So, di ba sabi nga natin, para ma-neutralize, kung ano yung in-add mo dito, yun din yung ima-minus mo dito. Parang nga naman 0. Equal. So, minus 4? Minus 4? Minus 4? No. So, hindi siya minus 4. Sir, bakit hindi minus 4? Kasi, at first, you did not add 4 here. Okay? Ano ba yung in-add mo? Ang in-add mo ay 20. Kasi may 5 ka sa unahan. Diba? So, kung din-distribute natin, so we have 5x squared. Yes. Tama? So, lagyan natin ng red marker. So, 5x squared. Yes. Din-distribute natin yung 5 and negative 4. Negative 20. Then, 5 times 4. So, ang in-add mo dito is plus 20. Originally. Okay, so plus 20 yung in-add mo. So, kung yung plus 20 yung in-add mo, therefore, you will subtract 20 here. Okay, so next, factor na natin ito. So, factor na natin into a perfect square trinomial with a squared. So, factor or square root nito ay x. Square root ng 4 ay 2. Then, sign nito ay minus. Okay, so we have 5 times x minus 2 squared, then minus 25. So, as you can see, nakaganong factor na siya or nakaganong format na siya. Para na siyang standard form. Hindi pala standard form na siya talaga. So, vertex natin here is 2. So, gagawin lang natin minus. Kung minus to, so gagawin natin is positive 2. Then, yung nasa labas yung k natin, as is na yun. Kung minus yun, minus. So, that is your vertex form. Vertex form or the vertex form standard form. Okay? So, that's how you find the standard form of quadratic functions. Okay? So, paano ba nasasabi na quadratic function? So, unang-unang nasabi natin na quadratic function kapag nakagraph siya ng parabola. Okay? Kapag even yung graph. Then also, quadratic function kapag may squared. And at the same time, may squared, meron din siyang f of x or y. Okay? Then also, pwede natin hanapin ang quadratic function through table. Okay? So, paano natin masasabi na quadratic function ang isang table of values? So, for example, we have x and f of x. Okay, so let's have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So, example natin here is yan. Okay, kung mapansin natin, yung x natin, so it increases by 1. So, meron siyang common difference. So, meron kang minus natin, 5 minus 4, 1, 4 minus 3, 1, 3 minus 2, 1, 2 minus 2 minus 1 is 1. Okay? So, automatically, dito sa quadratic functions natin, ang x natin is consistent. Consistent yung common difference natin. Okay, constant yung difference natin. Hindi pala siya common difference, difference lang. Okay, constant. Ibig sabihin, isa. Okay, lahat sila 1. So, dito naman, so minus natin, 1, 1, 1, 1. So, napansin natin, with regards to our values of f of x, constant din yung difference niya. So, paano natin i-visualize natin yung graph niya. So, i-graph natin para makita natin ano ba yung tsura ng graph nito. So, gawin natin. So, i-graph natin. We have 1, 0, 2, 1, 3, 2, 4, 3. So, pasensya na. Medyo hindi consistent yung laki. 5, 4. So, yan. So, mapapansin natin, it is a straight line. Okay? So, kapag consistent yung differences ng f of x natin, so sa x kasi, laging consistent or laging constant yung difference ng mga values. So, napansin natin, kapag constant or pare-pares yung difference ng f of x natin, we can say that it is not a quadratic function. So, just like this example, napansin natin, isa siyang line. So, therefore, it is a linear function. Linear function lang yan. Kasi line niya eh. Okay? So, let's have another example. So, hindi ko buburahin. So, let's have another table of values. Okay, so let's have this table of values. So, mapansin natin, with x values natin, so, it has a constant difference. Okay? So, dapat constant difference ng x. So, negative 1 minus negative 2 is 1. Negative 2 minus negative 3 is 1. Negative 3 minus negative 4 is 1. And negative 4 minus negative 5 is also 1. Sir, bakit ganun? Ba't naging 1? So, ganda lang yan. Negative 1 minus negative 2. So, di ba pag nagkaroon ng dalawang minus, nagiging plus. So, negative 1 plus 2 kaya 1. Same goes with the other pair of numbers. Okay? So, next. So, tama. Constant yung differences ng x's natin. So, how about yung f of x's natin? So, minus lang natin. So, 3 minus 0 is 3. 0 minus negative 1 is 1. 1, negative 1 minus 0 is negative 1. Minus 0 is negative 1. 0 minus 3 is negative 3. As you can see, at first, magkakaiba na iyan na. So, yes, hindi na siya parehas nito. Hindi na constant yung differences natin. Yun nga lang, i-check pa rin natin. Pag minus ulit natin yung mga constant differences nila. So, pag minus natin yung naging sagot natin dito, at saka dito. Okay? So, meron tayong 3 minus 1. So, sulat natin. Negative 3, negative 1, 1, 3. So, gagawin natin, ipagmaminus natin yung mga naging differences. So, 3 minus 1 is 2. 1 minus negative 1 is 2. And negative 1 minus negative 3 is 2. So, napansin natin, constant na yung second difference niya. Okay? So, kapag sa second difference, naging constant na or naging pare-pares na, that's the time you can say that this table of values ay tinatawag natin quadratic function. Okay? So, quadratic function na yan. Maniwala? Papaniwalain natin. Okay, so therefore, para malaman natin ang quadratic function niya, yung table of values na yan, so let's graph it. So, i-graph lang natin. So, let's have a Cartesian coordinate plane. Ay, sorry. So, puro negative pala yung mga x natin. So, kapag mga negative yung x natin, di syempre dito siya makikita. Yan. Taasan natin dito. Yan. So, i-adjust natin in such a way na mas malaki yung portion ng negative yung x. So, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. Tapos, lagyan ang haba natin dito kasi meron tayong negative na y. So, negative 1, negative 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, and negative 5. Okay, so let's graph this table of values. So if we have negative 5 as your x, we have 3. So this is 1 point. If we have negative 4 as your x, your f of x is 0. It's another 1. If we have negative 3, if we have f of x are negative 1, here's this one. So if we have negative 2 as your x, our f of x is 0. Results in this one. So if you have x as negative 1, your f of x is 3. So here is, so mapansin natin, if we trace the dots, so medyo pasensya na, medyo pangit yung drawing ko. Yun. Yun. Okay. So masasabi natin na isa siyang quadratic function. So bakit tinawag na quadratic function? Kasi parabola yung graph. Okay? So yun nga lang, para masabi natin, without graphing, para masabi natin na yung table of values ay isang quadratic function o hindi, ay ang gagawin natin, so we get the differences. Okay, yung f of x natin, as you can see, at first difference, magkakaiba. Pero dapat, doon sa second difference, pare-parehas siya. Okay? So that's how you tell quadratic functions. Question? So yung tinatawag natin quadratic functions sa tunay na buhay. Okay? So, any questions so far? Okay, so yes. Sana may nagtanong. May kausap ba ako? Okay, so yes, that's it for this week. So sana po, madali lang naman siya, promise. Okay, so week natin ngayon ay week 5. So wala siya nakalagay sa modules natin, but pakipunta sa page 26 hanggang 29. So ganun lang po, 26 to 29, that's 4 pages only, learning task 1 to 4. Okay, so thank you. If you have any question, post lang po sa grupo natin. Goodbye! Okay, so we have here this general formula. The function y equals x squared minus 2x plus 3. So translate natin the vertex form. So we get the vertex 1, negative 4. So gagawin natin, we're graphing muna. So gagawin natin, so papakita muna natin yung graph for us to find these properties. And then next examples natin, we just get the vertex form or the standard form. Tell natin about this without graphing. Okay, so I have here an app called Geogebra or for Windows or any OS. So this is a graphing calculator. So we just input the function. So gawin natin si input lang natin ito. Makikita natin yung function sa yung graph niya dyan sa app natin. So let's try keying y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. As you can see, nakita natin, isa siyang parabola. Okay. So tama, isa siyang quadratic function. Okay, so for us to find yung vertex, so titignan natin, medyo malabo mata natin para makasiguro tayo. So you can see the vertex, so opening up lang siya. Okay, so pakita natin, we have now yung Vadro and x percent. Okay, so yung opening niya, nakikita natin sa ating graph, is that it opens upward. So, opening natin ay upward. So, therefore, yung vertex niya, the minimum. So, kung dito yung babasa natin yung graph, tama. Vertex ay 1, negative 4. So, you can see here, 1, negative 4. So, para makasiguro ay gawin natin, let's make the application tell us the vertex. So, you have the extremum. So, as you can see from the icon, maximum or minimum. So, click natin sa extremum, click natin sa graph para tell the vertex. So, vertex 1, negative 4. So, correct. So, sulat natin kay Vadro. So, vertex ay 1, negative 4. Okay. So, the vertex, so, next natin ay axis of symmetry. So, magdala natin sa calculator. So, axis of symmetry, sabi nga natin ganito, is a line that divides parabola into two points. Here. So, ang tinatanong ay, ano daw yung equation na yun? So, gagawin natin, we will draw a line here. Okay, so gagawin natin yung 3D line. So, using the vertex, so, syempre, dadaan sa vertex yun, kasi yun yung gitna. So, from the vertex, then, patayin ganun. Okay, so that is your equation. Equation. Okay, sabihin natin, so para medyo malinaw or na-emphasize, so we make it red, then we make it dash lines. There we go. Okay, so tinatanong is the equation of this line, yung dash lines na rin. Okay, so as you can see, the graph also tell us the equation of that line. So yung line na AB. So the equation is x equals 1. Okay, so tingnan natin. So sulat natin kay axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Okay, yung domain naman. So domain is the set of all x values. So balikan natin sa equation. Add sa graph. So sabi, set of all x. So ibig sabihin lahat ng pwede maging x values natin. Okay, so ito yung x values. Ito yung x-axis natin. So as you can see, kapag zoom out natin ng zoom out, the parabola extends infinitely to the left. Diba? Pansin natin, 10, 20, so yan, palaki ng palaki, babot ng 20, yan, palaki, yan, 20, 30, 40, and so on and so forth. So it extends to the left and also, ganun din sa right. Okay? So therefore, this parabola, the domain of this parabola is the set of all real numbers. Ibig sabihin, any number you think of, real numbers. So, double stroke na R ang real numbers. Okay, so any number you can think of, pwede siyang ilagay dun sa quadratic function natin. No? So, pwede kahit ano. Okay, so dito lang nagkakatalo sa range. So, ano yung range natin tinatawag? So, balikan natin yung graph natin. So, the range is the set of all values of y. Okay, so ito naman, yung y-axis naman tayo. Papansin mo, lahat ba dinaanan? Lahat ng numbers sa y-axis dinaanan? So, I think not. Kasi, as you can see, you start here with negative 4, then hindi na siya dumaan sa baba. Diba? Nag-extend na siya pataas, and so on, pataas lang yung parabola. Kasi nga, kung babalikan natin yung opening niya, sabi niya ay upward. Okay? So, kung upward siya, pataas lang ng pataas. So, therefore, it starts with negative 4 and pataas. So, how will you write that? Sa range natin. So, range niya is y is pataas ng pataas sa negative 4. Okay? So, yan. Nakukompleto na natin. So, yung vertex, axis of symmetry, so, domain, and range. Ito, secret lang natin. Yung domain laging set up all the numbers. Secret lang. Okay, so next. So, ito, medyo pahirapan lang. Pero madali lang naman. So, x-intercept and y-intercept. So, ito kasi computation na siya. So, x-intercept is when y equals 0. So, kapag y-intercept, x equals 0. So, gagawin natin. Sa substitute lang natin. Okay, so x-intercept is such a way na yung y papalitan natin ng 0. So, we have x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals sa y. Sabi yung y equal to 0, so gawin natin ito 0. So, as you can see, naging familiar, naging quadratic equation na siya, nagpa-factor lang natin. So, we have x minus 3 and x minus 1, x plus 1, rather. Ano na, x. Sorry. X plus 1 equals 0. So, the factors here, or the zeros are negative. So, positive 3 and negative 1. So, therefore, dalawa yung x-intercept natin. So, we have, sumiksik na. So, natin, x squared minus 2x minus 3 equals 0, x minus 3, x plus 1, so we have 2 x-intercepts, x is equal to positive 3 and x equals negative 1. So, 3 and negative 1. Okay? So, how will you find it sa Geogebra? So, pakita din natin sa Geogebra how will you find the x and y intercept? So using this, and we find the roots. So yung roots natin, click lang natin si roots, then we click the graph. There you go. We have two roots or the x-intercept. So we have 3 and negative 1. So through computation, nakita natin 3 and negative 1. Tama? 3 and negative 1. Okay, so tama. X-intercept natin is 3 and negative 1. Next, how will you find the y-intercept? So y-intercept naman sabi if x equals 0. Ito pinakamadali. So y equals x squared minus 2x minus 3. So gagawin natin, yung x daw ay 0. So papalitan lang natin. Kapag gagawin 0, pag gagawin 0. So pag yung 0 to, wala na. So 0 squared 0. 2 times 0, 0. So natira na lang si constant. So therefore y equals negative 3. So therefore this is your y-intercept, negative 3. Okay, so how will you find? Excuse me. How will you find negative 3 sa Geogebra natin? So dito lang din siya. So click natin. So we have intercept. So intercept na. So click natin ito, the graph itself, and click natin si y-axis. There you go. You have point E. So this is your y-intercept. We have negative 3. So correct? So okay. Okay, so pinakita lang natin using Geogebra how you find the properties. Okay. So binasayan lang natin. But we can find the properties using only the vertex point. Okay? Ang ganda lang siya. Papakita natin. So yes, can we take note muna lang ito? Pause nyo muna, tapos screenshot, no? So gagawin kasi natin, buburahin natin. Okay? So buburahin natin lahat, then without the aid of the graph, hahanapin natin yung properties nito. Okay, so hindi na hahanapin yung x and y intercept kasi pinakita na natin. Okay? Okay, so ganito lang yan. So buburahin natin ito. Okay. So, hindi natin binura x and y intercept kasi I showed you how to find x and y intercept computation. Okay. Okay. So, vertex natin, nakuha natin through vertex point is 1 and 4. Okay. So, the axis of symmetry. So, dito, yung axis of symmetry, umaasa siya sa x values natin ng vertex. So, yung axis of symmetry is x equals 1. There you go. So, lagyan natin ng parenthesis, x equals h. So, anong value ng h, that is your axis of symmetry. Okay. So, the domain, it's always elements of real numbers, so lahat na ng real numbers. Okay, yun na lang. Hindi na kailangan set of all real numbers. Okay, yung range natin, umasa siya sa k natin. Okay, so, bago tayo dumako sa range, so alamin muna natin kung paano siya nag-open. So, yung opening natin, so nakita naman natin sa graph kanina upward. Pero paano ba nasasabi na upward or downward? So, through the use of A. Ano yung A natin tinatawag? So, yung A natin is yung coefficient ng x squared natin or the quadratic. So, kung positive yun or negative. So, mamaya papakita natin. So, positive yung A, positive 1, so therefore it opens upward. So, kapag opens upward, so automatic yan, y greater than. Greater than, kasi patas. So, pag downward to, ito, pababaliktad, magiging pag-ganon. Okay? Pabalik siya. Pabukas na pala. So, dahil upward, greater than negative 4, or y is greater than k. K ang binabas mo. Okay? So, that's how you find the properties of the quadratic functions without graphing. So, tama. Ito rin naman yung kung na-screenshot nyo or na-take note nyo yung pinura natin dito. That is the same. Okay? Excuse me. So, let's have another example. Okay na? So, that's how you find the properties of a quadratic function. Okay, so, parahin natin. Let's have another example. We have so y equals x squared plus 4x minus 1. Okay, so gawin natin, it is given in general form, so gawin natin siya standard form. So how you make it standard form? So start natin sin ng x, Saka yung walang x. As you can see, may number sa unahan. Hindi siya 1, but negative 1. So, gagawin natin, ipafactor out natin. Negative 1, or no need to write 1 here. Automatic na yun. Kapag negative, so that's automatic. So, ginawa natin, yan. Naging positive yung x squared, naging negative yung 4x. Then, plus blank, minus 1. So, hindi na bago yung minus 1. Hindi na bago yung sign ng minus 1. That's because yung nasa loob lang ng parenthesis yung ginagawa natin. So, what will you add here? So, gagawin natin is divide by 2 yung linear term. So, the answer is 2. And the answer, we will always square it. So, we will add 4 here. Okay? Kung nag-add ka ng 4, gagawin dito. Magma-minus ng 4. Is it minus 4? No. Kasi, ang ginawa mo, originally is, nag-minus 4 ka dito kasi you have a negative sign sa labas. Okay? Sa loob, nag-plus 4 ka. But originally, dun sa buong function natin, you subtract 4. So, kaya minus 4. So, you subtract 4, therefore, opposite sa niya, you will add 4. Neutral. Hindi 0 lang. Minus 4 plus 4, 0. Okay, so factor natin, we have y equals negative of x minus 2 squared. So factor nito, perfect square triangle naman, x minus 2 squared plus 3. So therefore, the vertex here is, so as is yung 3, yung 2 papalitan natin sign, negative 2, so yung 2, positive 3. So that's the vertex. Okay, so gawin natin. So try ulit natin kay Geogebra. Okay, so pakita natin kay Geogebra kapag in-input natin ito. So input natin, sorry, what happened? Okay, so input natin kay Geogebra itong original equation natin. So pakita natin. We have now y equals negative x squared plus 4x minus 1. So as you can see, kaibahan niya sa kaninang parabola natin. So this now opens downward. So yes, meron na tayo sa opening downward. So bakit naging downward? So balikan natin, the value of a, yung sign of a tells us kung ano ang opening niya. So positive upward or negative downward. So yes, given natin ngayon ay negative. So kapag negative, downward na siya. Okay? So balik tayo kay Geogebra. So we have negative. Yung A natin, so it opens downward. Okay, so the vertex, so using the function streaming, click the graph. So that's your vertex 2, 3. 2, 3, 2, 3. So balikan natin yung computation natin. Yes, correct, 2, 3. Medyo pangit na yung sulat ko. 2, 3. So the axis of symmetry. So what will you do? So create a line, click the vertex, and click yan. Tuwid na line dapat. Tuwid na line. Siyempre, line yan. Okay, so gagawin natin is sorry. Okay, so this line x equals 2. So that is your axis of symmetry. X equals 2. So napansin natin, so may connection siya dun sa each natin. X equals 2. Okay. So domain natin is all real numbers, always elements of real numbers, and the range natin, dito naman nagkakatalog. So range natin, so you can see, starts with 3, then pababa na siya. Does not go upward, but pababa siya. So gawin natin is y is less than, so kasi downward, yeah, less than. So less than what? Less than, so balikan natin yung graph natin, less than 3. So 3, nag-start siya sa 3 pababa, kasi yun yung highest limit. Okay, so y is less than or equal. Okay, so next, x-intercept natin. So x-intercept natin, so gamit sa original equation, or function rather. So gagawin natin ay set natin yung value ng so we can negative x squared plus 4x minus 1 equals 0. So palitan natin lahat ng sign. Wala pa siyang factors. Okay, so x-intercept natin is, sa pakita natin yung graph. Sorry. So, a graph, we have your roots, click there. So, may point. So, hindi siya exacto, you use the quadratic formula. Negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4 c all over 2. 4 plus minus 16. 16 minus 4 is 12. Square root of 12 over 2. So we have here, sa kanan sa 2, plus sa kanan 2 square root of 3, sa kanan sa 3, sa 2. So we have now 2 plus minus square root of 3. So we have x-intercept sa ito. So 2 plus minus, sa kanan sa 2 plus minus square root of 3. So 2 plus minus square root of 3 is ito. Ay, sorry, hindi ko na pakita. Tama. Okay, so y equals negative 4x squared. So ginawa natin ito. So ginamit ka ng quadratic formula. Then 2 plus minus square root of 4. So, 2 plus minus square root of 4. Kasi hindi factorable ito. No factors at all, pero yung roots niya ay real number. So, hindi siya imaginary. Okay, so next, so how do you find the y-intercept? So y-intercept is that and x is equal to 0. So y equals negative x squared. So kung natin sa original function, so gawin natin 0 lang to, takloban din na lang ako. Try negative 1 equals so therefore, with regards to graphs and the properties, so with the use of your vertex, you can find value. Then, pinaka-computation lang is x-intercept and y-intercept. Okay? So, sure natin kung y-intercept na ay negative 1. So, pakita natin dito. So, click this one, intersect. So, what's the intersection of this graph and the y-axis? Yes, 0, negative 1. So, tama. With our computation, negative 1. Okay? So, alam na natin kung paano natin ang functions or the properties of a quadratic function without graph. Okay? So, try natin. Now, let's try without the aid of our Geogebra. Hanapin natin ang mga properties na ng ating quadratic. So, example. Wow. Libre ko na sa whiteboard natin. So, Vadro lang. So, pin natin. So, if regards to this Vadro, so, lagyan natin ang hint. So, how you find Vadro? So, the x-intercept with y equals 0. And there's x equals 0. The vertex is h. Axis of symmetry, x equals h. Domain, all real numbers. Elements of real numbers. Yung range natin, so it's either y is greater than a, greater than a, or y is less than or equal to a. Okay? So, paano sasabi? So, ito upward, downward. So, opening natin, dalawa upward or downward. So, x-intercept, lang yun, and ito. Okay? Naintindihan? So, let's try this example. We have so y equals x squared minus 2x minus 15. So, start natin si x's. Then plus blank minus 15 parentheses. So, what do you add here? So, divided sa 2 plus 1 squared. So, we add 1 here. Kung nagagawin minus 1. Here, y equals x minus 1 squared minus 16. So, with that, so yung Vadro natin, x in, y in. So, yung vertex natin is 1 negative 16. Axis of symmetry is x plus 1. Then, it is elements of real numbers. Finish natin is y is greater than or equal to negative 16. So bakit ang greater than yung ginamit natin? Because the graph points upward. It's a bit upward kasi positive to. Okay, so x-intercept na. Ito na. Ito na yung medyo tricky part. So ano natin is sa solve lang tayo. So, kunin natin sa original function, y equals x squared minus 2 x minus 15. So, we set y as 0 for us to find x-intercept. So, what are the factors of this one? X minus 5 and x plus 3. Okay, so multiply 15, pinag-add negative 2. So, therefore, we have 2 x-intercepts, 5 and negative 3. So, we have 5 and negative 3. And y-intercept, so we get the original function. Takluban lang natin ito. Takluban natin, that's your x-intercept. Kasi 0 to 0 to y equals negative 3. So, ganun padali. Wala pang 5 minutes, so ano natin yung properties. Okay? Okay. Thank you. So, let's have another example. Last example. So, natin. Alright, so let's have y equals negative 2x squared plus 12x minus 17. So as you can see, may numbers sa unahan, and it is negative 2, so automatic downward na ito. Masalit na agad. Downward. Kung gano'n. So, gawin natin is sort natin yung amount x. Sulayin natin yung amount x. So, gawin natin dahil may numbers sa unahan, we will divide it by the coefficient, negative 2, we have x squared. Divide sa negative 2, we have negative 6x plus b lang. Minus 7. So, what will you add here to make it a perfect square trinomial? So, divide natin sa 2. 3 squared. So, we will add 9 here. So, kung nag-add 9 ka doon, we will subtract 9 here? No. So, kung nag-add 9 ka doon, originally, ang dinagdag mo ay negative 18 because of the negative coefficient na nasa labas. So, 9 times negative 2 is negative 18. So, we will add plus 18 here. Okay, naintindihan ko. So, therefore, by factoring, we have negative 2 x minus 3 squared. So, factoring this x minus 3 squared, and this one is plus 1. Okay, so the vertex is 3, 1. Okay, so 3. Kaya naman natin, the 1 axis of the vertex is 3, 1. Axis of symmetry is the value of h. The value is always elements of real numbers. Yung range natin dahil downward, so it starts with 1 and less than or equal to 1. Baba. Okay, x-intercept. So we set y as 0, 2x squared plus 12x minus 17. So, natin pagkalapin natin sa inyo, 2x squared minus 12x plus 17 equals 0. May factors. Oh, so we have to use quadratic formula. Sana din yung negative b. Negative b plus minus square root of b squared minus 4 is 12 plus minus square root of 144 minus 17 times 4 16 1. Do that. And 17 times 136 over 4. So 144 minus 136 is 8. So it becomes 12 plus minus square root of 4 over 4. So over 4. So this is, so pwede cancel natin yung 2. So this is 2 square root of 2. That's cancel into 2, cancel into 2, cancel into 2, 6, so that equals 6, plus minus square root of 2, so that's your x-intercept. Okay, so how about y-intercept? So madali yung y-intercept. Takloban natin using the original function, matitira na lang yung constant, negative 7. Okay, so yan. Madali lang, medyo duguan lang yung x and y. Okay, we get it. So that's how you find properties of quadratic function. Okay, so if you have any question, kindly comment down sa comment section natin. Okay, salamat. So next natin, so we have, kasi ang alam natin na vertex ng A, x, y, z, square, plus. So ito madali lang. Sunod ko na dito sa comment section natin. So what are the effects of A, H, and K sa graph natin? Okay, so stay tuned. Okay, so welcome up. So, papakita natin yung effects ng H at saka K sa graph na isang quadratic function. So, alam natin sa nagalang yung HK. So, HK is that for A is the coefficient ng x squared, ng H at saka K. So, all quadratic function graph na ay nag-base sa y equals x squared. So, pakita natin ito yung Geogebra. Ano ba ang itsura ng y equals x squared? Sure. So, try natin input yung y equals x squared. Okay. So, dyan nagmumula ang lahat na quadratic function ng y equals x squared or graph G. Okay. So, gawin natin yung single movement. Let's yes. Pwede mo siya. Pwede siya sabihin natin sa delete natin. So let's have this. So, ginawa ko is nagawa ko dito ng mga formats. Meron tayong slider na H, K. So, what happens if binabagi natin yung slider ng H at K? Okay, so let's show the graph. So, kapag 0 na, so, ganun yung itsura na yun. Agree. Okay, so gawin natin is we make it y equals x squared. So this is the mother of all graphs. So ito yung galingan natin function. Y equals x squared. So as you can see, if y equals 1, h is 0, y equals 0. Okay, so what if ang vertex natin ay 1, 1? Okay, tignan natin. So yung A hindi natin ginagawa, yung vertex natin is 1, 1. 1, 1. So nagkaroon ng movement, no? So, ano nangyari? Yung graph natin is from this one. So, from that one, umakyat siya, it shifted, the green graph shifted 1 unit to the right and 1 unit upward. So, dito nagpunta. So, 1 unit to the right. So, nag-move siya ng 1. Nag-move siya ng 1 unit. Okay, so as you can see, yung graph natin from x squared, naging x minus 1 squared plus 0 versus 1, 1. Okay. So, therefore, yung a natin, so balik natin sa dati. So, yung h at k natin, may kanya-kanya siyang movement. So, dahil yung h natin is the value of x vertex natin, so yung h natin, nagkakaroon siya ng movement from to the right or to the left. So, kapag negative yung h natin, the original graph na x squared yung nag-movement to the left, pag negative, ang positive nag-movement to the right. Okay ba? Pansin nyo, itong 0 natin dito, magkakaroon ng value. Values y plus okay. So, yung k naman natin, so dahil x value ng vertex natin, h, yung k naman natin. So, shift mo yung graph ng x squared upward, kapag plus, then minus, downward. Okay, ganun lang kasi. Okay, yung h natin, ang effect niya ay left or right, ang graph natin. Ang k natin ay up or down. Okay, so ano naman epekto ng a sa graph natin? So, tingnan natin lang. So, from 1, originally, your effect of a is always 1. So, gagawin natin, lakihan natin. And what happens if 1 becomes 2? Pansin mo, 2 na to. So, from 1,
naging 2. So, kumpara natin, yung 1 kanina, ito, medyo malapad. Yung naging 2, luminipis siya. So, it becomes narrow. Okay? Kaya habang lumalaki pa natin, naglalaro pa siya. Okay? So, balik natin sa 1. So, what happens? Yung 1 naman ay lumiliit. So, yes, kabalitaran, syempre. So, kung yung 1 ay lumiliit, therefore, lumalapad naman siya. Stop with point 1. So, bakit tumigil tayo sa point 1? Kasi, kapag naging 0 na yan, let's see. Kapag naging 0 kasi, kapag naging 0 na yung A natin, sasabi na natin dati, yung A natin cannot be equal to 0. So, kapag naging 0 kasi yung A, nawawala na yung quadratic term. 0 to times x to 0 kaya yung y times 0. So, pa siya maging 0. But, pwede siya maging negative. So, yun. So, tama nga naman kanina, kapag negative yung A natin, nag-grab na parabola, opens downward. So, ganun lang yung effect. Effect ni A. So, as A grows larger and larger, the parabola becomes narrow. And as A becomes smaller and smaller, hanggang sa maging decimal na positive siya, it becomes wider. Okay, kapag naging negative naman si A, naging opens narrow naman siya. And the same. Okay? So, yung H naman natin, yung H makes a parabola shift right or left kapag H. And kapag Q naman, up. So, what we have here? So, the graph of x squared. So, gawin natin sa point. So, the graph of x squared. So, nandito kasi originally yung x squared. So, the graph of x squared shifted 6 units to the left. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 units to the left and 4 units downward. So, 1, 2, 3, 4. So, that the graph, we can tell na 6 units to the left and 4 units downward. Kasi 6 yung vertex, 6 negative. Negative 6, negative 4. So, negative 6 yung H, negative to the left, negative 4, up. Okay pa, tayo dito. So, balik natin sa 0. So, hindi natin pakita dito. Okay, so that's the graph of x squared. Sabihin natin, lagyan natin ng vertex. So, next time, vertex natin is 5, negative 7. So, paano natin papakita yung movement? So, yung movement ni x squared is that it shifted to the positive yung 5, negative yung 7, positive 5 yung h, positive 5 it moves to the right, kasi h ay left to right, and positive to the right. So, it shifted 5 units to the right. So, simula dito, nag-move siya papunta dito sa kanya. 5 units. And 7 units downward kasi negative yung 2. Okay, so, therefore, makikita natin yung graph. Opens upward siya, pero makikita natin some point here. Ito. Tama kaya? Makikita natin. Makikita natin, siya rin. Shifted 5 units to the right and 7 units. So, ganun lang kata dito. Ito, so yung tinatawag na movement ng parabola kasi ang basic natin yung x. Ito. So, yeah, tanong ulit natin. So, let's try 10, negative 10. So, napansin natin, anong vertex niya? So, vertex niya is negative 10 kasi plus 2 becomes negative kasi kapag ito as is. So, therefore, so the graph of x squared shifted 10 units to the right, to the left, rather, to the left, kasi negative yung 10, and 10 units upward. Tapos kung natin negative 1. Okay. So, negative 1, 10 units to the left, 10 units upward. Sure. Ito natin. First step graph, there. So, 10 units to the left, 10 units upward. Let's follow that. Okay, so yung natawag natin dito. So, pinakita natin kanina. Let's try making it 0 and 0. So, sabi kanina, 10, 10, ano? So, 10 daw pataas. Tumataas siya. Okay, tumakaliwa. Okay, so yung natawag natin movement na parabol. Okay, so madali lang ito. Yun lang. So, as you can see, we have the vertex form here and the general. Yung general form, and expand. Okay? Any question? If you have any question, sulat lang sa mga comment section. Okay, salamat.